All right, welcome back to the channel. Today I have an incredible guest. His name's Zain, and he has absolutely been crushing it over the last little bit here with his coaching business. And so today we're just going to kind of dive in. Before joining, Zain was doing kind of around like 15 to 20K a month, teaching people how to start a sneaker reselling business and how to scale their existing one. And then while working together, basically doubled that to about 30 to 40K a month. And it's just been such an honor and a pleasure working with you and your partner, Aiden. And I just want to say, like, super proud of you guys and just amazing work so far. So, Zain, welcome to the channel, brother. Give us a quick little rundown of who you are and, yeah, what you're doing.
Yeah, super stoked. Thanks for having me again. I used to sit back and watch these videos. It's pretty funny now being in one of them. But my name is Zain Zatawi. I'm 21 years old. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, a small city in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee. And I just graduated college last month. I've been reselling sneakers the last 4-ish years and teaching people how to do so the last, I guess, 2 years. And yeah, that's a quick overview about what I do.
That's awesome, man. And so you grew up your own sneaker reselling business, and then you decided you wanted to teach other people how to do that too. What was that process like? And like kind of how'd you kind of like discover that you wanted to teach other people how to do it and kind of like pursue the coaching route?
Yeah, so I think me and Aiden is my business partner. We had really, really fast growth, and I think that's kind of how we got into the coaching space. We were posting TikToks, and we all started out organically, and a lot of people were just asking us the same questions over and over and over again. And so it kind of got to the point where I just saw how every other industry was selling coaching and streamlining, teaching, and actually making a profit off of it. And I was like, hey, why don't we try that? So it definitely didn't start out as like a high ticket coaching offer. It started out as like a low ticket community that we still have to this day and kind of grew from there. But yeah, I mean, when I really kind of realized that I wanted to teach was when I just started. I mean, I was helping so many people anyways for free. And I realized like this is something that the market needs. So why not craft an offer? And that's what we did. So that's kind of how it started.
Love it, man. That's huge. And so obviously you and Aiden are young, a couple of young bucks, 21, and doing pretty damn good for yourselves. So what would you tell somebody who is maybe on the younger side and wants to kind of get into coaching and scale things up?
I would definitely say first put your focus into actually being good at something. I think that's really important. I think a key to why the program has been successful for us in selling is that we get a good amount of referrals and it is actually helping people get results. I think that's number one. I think a lot of people jump to become like the Miami guru and sell coaching before they actually have a decent skill. And I think that's honestly like I had major imposter syndrome for a long time, even though like I had pretty good results in the sneaker space and reselling space and made a good amount of money. Like I had made hundreds of thousands of dollars reselling before I ever sold any coaching, but it was just like um, I don't know. I always just had that kind of imposter syndrome in the back of my head, like I wasn't good enough to do it. So I think to just avoid that altogether, just get really good first. And even now, realizing to get to the next level in coaching, I have to get back to being an even better reseller and taking reselling to the next level to truly be able to hit the next level with coaching. So I think focusing on what you're actually teaching is really important. So
Dude,
focus first.
so good. So good. 'Cause yeah, I've made content and made videos before where like I literally say coaching is the worst thing you can do to start like an online business if you're not actually good at something. It's like it's the worst business model. And so I love that answer. And I think that yeah, that just shows a lot about who you are and kind of just the integrity that you and Aiden have. So talk to us a little bit about your growth and scaling. So let's say I'm running a coaching business. I'm doing 20K a month, kind of 15 to 20K a month. I want to double. I want to get to 30, 40. What do I need to do to get there? What was the process and the journey like for you guys? And what were some of the levers that you pulled in order to make that happen?
Well, it's definitely incorporating ads. I think for the longest time, I mean, we had scratched 30K months, like in terms of like, okay, like we're on pace at a 30K month, and then like everything just kind of falls off a cliff because all the money we had made with coaching, which we still built a six-figure coaching business with only organic, which I think is still cool, but it was just so inconsistent to the point where like thinking about other areas of my life were like impossible. So I think, definitely pulling the lever was like adding ads into the mix, retargeting all different types of ads. And I think that really is what took us to the next level because up until that point, like working with you, it was very inconsistent months with just organic. At least now, even though like we might be at like a plateau right now, we're plateauing at like our all-time highs because we are still able to kind of control to some extent what we weren't able to control before, which is lead flow. And even now, like our problem isn't really leads as much. We're still booking over, I think, 70 calls a month right now. It's more of like a sales problem, which is what we're trying to solve. There was other like internal things, but our problem before was 100% just not being able to get enough leads. And that's not an issue anymore because I mean, honestly, the ads have been cranking and we're spending even less. So it's definitely ads that you gotta run ads or you're cooked.
I love that. What was the process like getting into ads? Because I know a lot of people are pretty like resistant or apprehensive or even just afraid of ads in general because it's one of those things where it's like you have to spend money and you don't know if or when you're going to get it back. What was like what was kind of going through your mind when we were first started working together, when you made your first batch of ads? Awesome ones, I will say, by the way.
Oh
And
yeah, we got. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We got. I don't know if we got lucky or if we're just like that, but the first ad we ever ran was just printed like like we made over 100K I think from that ad. So yeah, that's
that's
crazy.
awesome. That's wild. But what I really liked about you and your ads is you're creative. A lot of people like kind of take things like kind of word for word and like do a very like kind of robotic script and stuff like that. You put your own spin on it. And not only with like the ad copy, but also like the creative and the background, right? You had like the sneaker boxes behind you, like holding pairs of sneakers and stuff like that. So it's like you're visually catching the attention of the person that you're trying to talk to. And so that's really cool. So, yeah, you wanted to just kind of touch on that a little bit. How could somebody who maybe they're running ads right now and they're struggling a little bit to see some traction, like what can they do to make their ads better?
Yeah, so I think definitely like having someone in your core. I mean, I actually knew a decent amount about ads in terms of like e-commerce stuff before, but I didn't know how to run ads for coaching. So instead
Mm,
of spending all the money trying to figure it out on my own, I thought it was a lot more worth it to just go with someone that had proven they know what they're doing, which was you. And I mean, we watched that long 30-minute video or whatever that you sent us prior, and it really brought, I mean, the system made a lot of sense. It was very, very streamlined. I think you also did a just good job throughout the program really simplifying ads. 'Cause I think a lot of people think ads are like this monster. Even now, our ads aren't like that. They're not super complicated. The most complicated thing is maybe the creative, and that's the hardest part. But the actual structure of it isn't like mind blowing in terms of setup, but it's like we just didn't know for the longest time that it was that way of setting it up that was able to just get us the results we wanted. So I think having someone in your corner that knows what they're doing, and obviously I'm a little bit biased because I'm a coach. I think people that try to navigate, I mean, I just had someone today text me. They started selling on Amazon. They were selling shoes, and they made a beginner mistake that now got their account deactivated. And they just didn't, and this was someone that was already in a group that just didn't want to pay for like the upgrade to learn more about like the Amazon side of things. And they had just
mm,
paid the upgrade, they probably would have saved money now versus, and not only just money, but headache versus trying to figure it out on their own, making a beginner mistake that I could have easily helped them avoid and, saved us all so much time, headache, and money. So I think don't be afraid to invest in people that know what they're doing. But if you've been doing something that doesn't work, you got to take a different direction.
love that. Love that. So we launched ads, solved the lead problem right away. What was the next thing that we did?
Um, it was incorporating retargeting. So like that was something that was big for us too. We initial ads were great. The follow ads, they were bringing people in like crazy. After we kind of like got that going, I mean, because I have my business partner, we didn't immediately put in a setter. Now my DMs are pretty much fully automated by a setter. I was just gone for like 3 days and we still had calls booked when I got back, which was pretty cool.
Huh.
So we got the setter. Next step for us is closer, but just because it's a two-person team, we kind of have some flexibility with when we have to hire. So we're trying to like stretch our dollar as far as we can. But yeah, once we got ads going, we got retargeting ads and then hired a setter, and that was really game changing for us.
Love that. And it's really cool, like for me to see just like how much of like a calculated process it is, where it's like 99% of people come to me for a lead problem. fix that with ads. And then from there, it's like most people's problems. Usually it's not even an ad problem. Usually people think it is, but it's actually like a setting or a sales problem. They got the leads, but they're having a hard time converting them. And so it's like such a game changer when you plug in a setter that just absolutely cranks and crushes. And yeah, that's super cool. So tell us a little bit about like the program and stuff like that. Like on your guys' eggs, is you have like you got the low ticket subscription and then the high ticket one, right? Talk to us a little bit about like kind of that funnel. Do people kind of go from your ads and then join the low ticket and then upsell into the high ticket? Are you putting people straight to the high ticket? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's straight to high ticket through booked call funnel on Instagram. It's all run
Mhm.
through my Instagram. And basically followers, we're running follow ads now. So follow or retargeting ads, they come from there to my Instagram, from the Instagram to booked call, from booked call to the high ticket. The low ticket is kind of just in place for if someone's like super unqualified, or I've been going pretty hard again on like organic content. So from my organic content, that's where like they'll tend to go because usually organic people aren't like the most qualified buyers in the world always,
Mm.
especially because I like to make more broad content now. Like I'll make travel content or lifestyle stuff, or not just sneaker specific stuff. And because my industry and niche is like tends to be younger people, versus like the coaching industry where it's a lot more like educated buyers who have more money. Because of that, we had to have the low ticket in place to just kind of serve those people as well. So that's kind of how it works. Low ticket isn't really, there's not really like a funnel to it. It's kind of just there. And it does okay. Like we get a couple people sometimes. I mean, usually it's like 1 to 2 people a day. But it's not really like a main focus. The main focus is in the high ticket, and really fulfilling hard there. But the low ticket's still good enough that it fulfills. So that's kind of how we have it structured.
That's awesome. And so, obviously you've gotten to the point you and Aiden are crushing it and doing really well. Like, what's next for you guys? Because I know you mentioned that, and we've been chatting a little bit too. Um, like really kind of going back to just getting even better and better with the reselling business, scaling that even further, and then that's only going to help you with the coaching side of things. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so really putting so much focus into coaching, it kind of forced us to put like not I don't want to say like the breaks because I mean we were still doing good December, November of last year in terms of reselling, but definitely like the focus stopped from scaling shoes super hard to focusing on the coaching business. Now, I kind of think that the right move is put more focus back into scaling shoes and Z&A and like the brand altogether. And as a result, from making so much money from that and having so much impact there, it'll trickle down into the coaching business. So that's kind of how we have the mentality moving forward. I think it's going to do wonders for us. But yeah, I think it was important at the time to really put a lot of focus into coaching, but now I realized I mean, unless you want to be like a fake online influencer guru that just, like, I mean, which there are plenty of those. Like, I'm actually in Miami, which is like the capital of the fake gurus. So unless you want to be like one of those people that just like fakes results and stuff like that and fakes numbers to sell, then you can do that. But like I said, like I get crazy imposter syndrome if I'm not like running it up. So just to ease that and also to just continue to get better and provide real value, we're gonna put more focus this year into really scaling the brand.
I love that. That's huge, man. And what are some things now? Obviously, you're very big on branding and content, stuff like that. Like, for somebody trying to grow their personal brand, what advice would you have to them? Maybe they're posting lots, they're not really seeing much traction, and it might be kind of like disheartening. How can somebody build a personal brand that really generates like trust with their audience to then be able to like kind of get them into a high ticket program?
I think setting the intention is really important because followers and views don't really matter. There was a time where, I mean, even if you look at my Instagram
Mm.
now, I'm sitting around like 34K. I think around like 4 or 5K is from follower ads, but the rest is all like organic. I mean, about 29 plus K if that's pretty organic growth. And there was a time where I was getting millions upon millions and millions of views and not making any money. I mean, I have videos that you can still find on my page with like 30,000 comments from like the automation bot thing. And I mean, that was 30,000 leads coming in. I have 30,000 emails from that. Didn't make any money with it because I didn't know what I was doing. And
Mhm.
also, a lot of those buyers were super unqualified. So it's like, what was the point? Then we kind of shifted the focus to optimizing for cash. And even though my videos might have only been getting 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 views, we would make 20,000 off a video because we book it like 3 or 4 or 5 good qualified calls. So I think like really setting your intention for what you want is super important and being intentional with the content you make. Also, I think now there's like a really, really big drought in terms of authenticity, and something I'm trying to get better at in 2025 is being more authentic in my personal brand. So I think those are the main keys for me, for sure.
I love that. Authenticity is like one of those things where it's like it's so obvious because like we crave that from the people that we watch and consume. But when people are making content, they feel like they have to be somebody else. They have to try
Yeah.
and like, be somebody or something else other than who they really are. And at least from what I've seen is like it's interesting because like there's the two sides of the equation. There's like being like really like just authentic, and then on the other side is like really inauthentic. And I think like when people start out making content, it's like they're on the one side and then they go like to being like really authentic. But I think like at a certain point, at least from what I've seen, and some people even like they go back to being like trying to be somebody that they're not, and then things slow down, and then it's when they really steer closer again to authenticity. That's when things really start to pick up again. And so it's super cool to kind of hear you say that as well, because it's one of those things where yeah, it's just so important. And so that's awesome, man. So what advice would you give yourself, like let's say 6, 12 months ago, trying to get the like wanting to scale the coaching business and kind of being, yeah, flown around 15, 20K a month? Like, what do you know now that you wish you knew back then?
Take action sooner, seek help sooner. That's probably what I would have done because I mean, even after, we joined your program, like a week later we joined another program, and it was like I mean it was a much heftier investment. So like I kind of got in the mentality after joining yours. I was like, yeah, like I just need to invest. That's how you make money. So um I spent a lot of money last year on my personal development, self-development, and I think that's what kind of primed me to be in the position that I'm in. I mean, I just graduated college and I don't feel like I learned. I regret like going. So I mean, I did it for my parents just to make them happy, but I mean, it was such a waste of time in terms of how much
Mhm.
that costed versus the value I got. I've learned more from paying like 19, 20-year-old mentors that have made a lot of money. You know what I mean? So I would say just take action sooner, seek help sooner, and honestly, talk to your partner sooner. I think like I mean, me and Aiden have a partnership, so dealing with a lot more of like the partnership issues. We don't really have any issues, but just being a lot more transparent earlier on and being more clear with the vision. I think if we would have done those things earlier, we would have not gone through that like plateau phase we just came out of. So
Love that. Oh, that's huge, man. Um, yeah, communication is everything, especially with like a business partner, right? Because like it's important that you guys are very aligned and are going in the same direction. And so sometimes that can kind of go off in a bit of a different direction, right? And so it's good to kind of realign, get back on track, and then you start to develop like a renewed sense of excitement for what you're doing as well, which is really cool. And I can sense that in you right now too. And I know one thing that you guys recently did is kind of take some time off. You went out to the mountains, disconnected for a bit. Talk to me about that. Like, why did you do it, and what were some of like what's one of the lessons that you learned from taking a bit of a step back in order to maybe take a hell of a lot more forward?
yeah, so I've honestly been off, quote unquote, for probably over a month now. I left in December for Europe, and I did a lot. I've been doing a lot of traveling myself, solo, just to kind of get away from the influence of other people day to day. I think like it's so hard to think your own thoughts because you're always being influenced by someone, whether that's
Mhm.
like or social media. So um, really, this trip was like a way for both of us to just get in the same room alone with no technology, and like we did a 4-day technology detox in the mountains. And I think like being able to actually think about the problems of the business without this guy telling us this or having to worry about this call coming up or whatever. That's what really allowed us to see the most growth during that time. So
Mhm.
we really were just sitting right there addressing the problems directly instead of continuing to just sweep them under the rug. So that was really why we booked the trip. And I mean, it was such a small expense for the clarity we got. I think a lot of people need to do that more. It's just book a, especially if you have a business partner, book a trip somewhere secluded away from everybody and just think. Even if it's by yourself, just think. Because every thought you have is influenced by someone else without you even
Yeah,
realizing.
dude, that's so important. Basically, stepping back to work on the business, on the vision instead of in it, getting bogged down. Yeah. Do you find that when you're like just in the trenches working, grinding it out, you start to kind of lose motivation a little bit and kind of get a little burnt out, start to kind of wonder like, why am I even doing this? Is that where you guys were kind of feeling a little bit?
Think it was definitely for me a lot more because, like I said, being a lot more disconnected from like the business which I started out of. I mean, I started sneakers out of passion. It wasn't like I wasn't like, hey, I want to become a millionaire. Let me start sneakers.
Hmm.
That's not why I started it. Even Z&A, we used to go to sneaker events and we'd be losing money because we didn't have partnerships at the time and we didn't have any infrastructure set up to make money. We just enjoyed going. That's the time when I enjoyed the business, and I realized for the sake of optimizing and making more money, we got so far away from that. And sure, we make way more money, but at what cost? And so it got to the point where yeah, I'd sit down and lock in, and I'm like, yeah, like I'm just checking the box, you know.
100%. Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. I just want to say too, like it's been such an honor working with you guys and just seeing your growth and everything too, what you're doing with both businesses is really cool. And it's something that not many people can do and what not many people can do very well. And kind of maintaining both of them and crushing it, having fun while you're doing it too, traveling, kind of build a team, learning leadership skills and stuff like that too. It's super cool.
Yeah, I've been having a little bit too much of a blast. I'm on the last trip right now. I promised my brother I'd take him here, so we're here for a few days, and then I'm taking a few months off to just really focus back on the vision. But now I kind of have that spark again to want to even do that. So I'm a lot more. I mean, we really like resumed hard operations yesterday. We're already locking in like huge deals. So it's been really exciting to just kind of fall back in love with it a little bit and restructure. And I think like we definitely are once a quarter gonna take the time to step away, realign, make sure the whole team's aligned, focusing a lot more on company culture. I know Dan Martell talks a lot about that.
Mm.
Having the right people that you actually hiring the right people, being having the right people in your circle is really important. So, uh, yeah, it's been a crazy learning experience. Now I'm free, no more shackles of university, so I'm able to kind of move around a little bit more freely. My parents are happy; they got the degree. Um, I paid off all that crap, so no more money coming out for school, so I'm all good. But yeah, dude, it's been a good, it's been a cool last year. It was a big year for growth, but this is the year we really want to kind of turn on the jets and make a lot more money.
I love it, man. Well, dude, I just want to say, before we wrap up as well, yeah, just congrats again. You guys are absolutely crushing it. Is there anything that you want to say to somebody watching this who's kind of feeling a little stuck? Maybe they're spinning their tires, not too sure what the direction is moving forward.
Definitely, like if you're at a point where you've been trying something, it's not working, you're either going to continue to pay for that with your time or you're going to make the investment in someone that knows what they're doing and free yourself from that system. So I think a lot of why we've been able to grow so fast is, I mean, just in 2024, we've probably spent over collectively between me and Aiden well over 30,000 or $40,000 on coaching and mentorship and courses and little things here and there, consulting calls, and all of that has just given us such a speed boost and so much clarity and whatever. Even this is stuff even outside of business, but just so much clarity and speed and getting to where we want to be. So you either pay with your time or you pay with your money. And I mean, I don't know about you, but money's infinite, time is not. So I'd rather pay with my money. That's just how I like to think.
Well said, brother. Well said. Well, dude, I appreciate you hopping on with me today. And again, it's been such a fun time working with you guys and just watching you absolutely crush it. So great work, killing it. And yeah, man, keep it up.
Yeah, you know we will.
Damn straight. All right. Well, if you want to get help scaling your business, book call down below, and I would love to chat and see if we can help you out. Till that, see you in the next one.